Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are taking on a topic that honestly haunts so many of us in the dark: nightmares. You know the exact feeling, right? Jolting awake, heart absolutely pounding, covered in a cold sweat. But what if we could actually take those terrifying experiences and, well, flip them totally on their head? Today we're going to see exactly how clinical science is helping people transform their most horrifying nighttime experiences into empowering stories of real psychological mastery.
To really understand what we're dealing with here, listen to this totally visceral account from a clinical research subject. She said, quote, "I'm in a prison cell. I see two kitchen drawers opening by themselves, as if by a ghost. I have a feeling of dread. I'm really frightened. I start crying and panic." End quote. I mean, wow. That raw human emotion, that overwhelming feeling of being completely at the mercy of things beyond your control, that is literally the heartbeat of a nightmare.
And, that profound helplessness leads us straight into what we can call the nightmare trap. Because these dreams make us feel so utterly powerless, our natural and completely understandable instinct is to just avoid them entirely. People will desperately resort to avoiding sleep altogether, or they try to completely erase any thoughts of the dream from their waking mind. But here's the dangerous psychological trap. Suppressing those thoughts acts exactly like a tightly pulled slingshot. It actually creates a dream rebound that guarantees the nightmare is going to return, and it'll be even stronger. Left untreated, it's just this vicious, absolutely exhausting cycle.
But there is a way out. In today's Explainer, we've got a clear, step-by-step roadmap to conquer these fears. We'll be walking through the nightmare cycle, rewriting the nightmare script, finding the help within, the power of lucid dreaming, and finally, exactly how to become lucid. We are going from the root of the problem straight to ultimate mastery.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, the nightmare cycle, stuck on repeat. So what is the actual clinical root of a bad dream that just won't quit? It really boils down to something called emotion dysregulation. See, normally our REM sleep does this amazing job acting as a sort of overnight therapy. It processes our daily stress and dampens our physical arousal. But with nightmare disorder, this process is fundamentally broken. The brain struggles to temper negative thoughts and emotions. It completely fails to dampen that distress. So instead of adaptively working through the stress like it should, the dream flips on its head, blocks all those restorative benefits of sleep, and just spirals straight into a full-blown panic.
Which brings us to the absolutely critical question: how do we actually break this cycle? Well, the very first step is actually completely counterintuitive for most people suffering from this. We have to stop avoiding the nightmare, and we have to start facing it head-on.
Moving right along to part 2, rewriting the nightmare script, taking the director's chair.
This right here is where the magic happens. This is where we take you from being a passive, helpless victim of your dreams, and we put you squarely into the director's chair. You become the active agent who actually gets to edit your own mental movies. The clinical gold standard for doing this is called imagery rehearsal therapy, or IRT for short. Basically, IRT views nightmares as learned behaviors, like a scripted, unhealthy response to a perceived threat. And the good news? Because it's a learned behavior, it can absolutely be unlearned. By safely exposing ourselves to the nightmare memory while we're wide awake, we can literally rewrite the script. We actively practice a more favorable way of dreaming during the day so that those new, healthier patterns naturally emerge in our sleeping mind at night.
What's really fascinating is how beautifully this plays out in practice. Remember that chilling ghost drawer dream we talked about earlier? Well, the patient who had that dream was asked how she could flip the script to make herself feel safer. She decided she wanted to imagine holding hands with other people. Simple enough, right? As she closed her eyes and reimagined the scene with just that one single change, the visualization completely took on a life of its own. She reported the room stretching out, the fear just melting away, and the whole dream shifting from this heavy gray dread to different calming shades of blue. She said it felt powerful, literally like winning.
And if you're sitting there wondering if this is just some neat little mental trick, get a load of this massive data point: 75%. In a recent study, 75% of PTSD patients, these are people who had been suffering from horrific symptoms for an average of 18 years, they fell completely below diagnostic thresholds for PTSD after just a few sessions of this therapy. That is huge. This is a highly, highly effective clinical tool for real long-term recovery.
All right, part 3, finding the help within, shifting the perspective.
So instead of inventing a completely new ending from scratch, there's another approach called focusing-oriented dream work. This is where you tune into the dream to find the safety that's actually already hiding inside it. Take this really striking story of a dreamer who is trapped in a small room with 5 screeching rabid tigers. Terrifying, right?
But instead of running or fighting, she found the help by shifting her perspective to literally embody the panicking cats. She realized they weren't actually trying to hurt her. They were just desperate to escape. They were terrified and trapped, exactly like she was. By fully feeling their panic, she simply decided to open the door in her mind. And to her total surprise, the cats just lay down, completely silent and calm, and the entire dream instantly transformed from terrifying chaos to absolute peace.
And the absolute beauty of this whole approach is how highly actionable it is. Literally anyone can apply this waking therapy to their own recurring nightmares using 4 really simple steps. Step 1, relax. Establish a sense of safety, clear your mind, maybe do some deep belly breathing. Step 2, recall. You write down or speak the nightmare out loud in the present tense, using lots of sensory details. Step 3, rescript. Embody other elements, find the help we just talked about, and write a new, deeply satisfying version of events. And finally, step 4, rehearse. You just visualize this new dream for 10 to 20 minutes every single day. You are actively practicing a brand new reality for your sleeping brain.
Which leads us to part 4, the power of lucid dreaming, fixing it from the inside. So let's take this explainer to the advanced level, becoming fully aware that you are dreaming while you are still fast asleep. The crucial contrast here is how these two methods actually operate. You see, waking rescripting relies on daytime rehearsal to fix the dream from the outside, basically hoping those new scripts filter into your sleep. But lucid dreaming therapy, that taps directly into the sleep state itself. I mean, think about it. If you're in the middle of a terrifying nightmare and you suddenly realize, wait a second, this isn't real, this is just a dream, the immediate relief is massive. You can rewrite the script right there in real time.
And the clinical results backing this up are truly staggering. 76%. In a recent study of PTSD patients suffering from severe nightmares, 76% of them managed to have a fully lucid dream after attending just a 1-week online workshop. Just one single week. And after that week of training, their symptoms dropped so significantly that every single one of them fell completely below diagnostic thresholds for PTSD. That is mind-blowing.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when you take control from the inside. One of those patients actually called out to their lucid dream directly and asked it to heal their anxiety. The dream responded by producing the image of, and I quote, a giant golden lozenge that evoked a feeling of amazement and gratitude. They completely transformed a space of absolute night terrors into this immensely positive, profoundly healing experience. All right, part 5, how to become lucid, your waking toolkit. Now I know, becoming aware in your sleep sounds like some sort of superpower straight out of a sci-fi movie, but trust me, 50 years of clinical research proves it is a completely learnable skill. Here are the proven induction techniques you can literally start using today. First up, dream journaling. Write down your dreams to spot recurring dream signs, bizarre things that repeat and can clue you in that you're asleep. Second, reality testing. Just stop for 30 seconds during your day and ask yourself, am I dreaming right now? Third is the wake back to bed method, or WBTB. You wake up an hour early, stay awake for just a few minutes, and then go back to sleep to intentionally enter a vivid REM cycle. And fourth, mental rehearsal. Just tell yourself as you drift off that you will remember you are dreaming. Combining these techniques can actually increase your chances of having a lucid dream by over 85% in just a single week. Which really leaves us with the ultimate realization. Your mind is entirely yours to control, both day and night. The nightmare is no longer this helpless trap we get stuck in, it's a creative canvas. So I want to leave you with this provocative question to ponder tonight before your head hits the pillow. If you absolutely knew you were dreaming tonight, what would you change? Take the director's chair and master your own mind.